here in the rankings.
Right. Looks a bit strange because, of course, Laurier and Versace are right at the top, and the third pair near the bottom.
Yes, yes. They have no chance of qualifying now, of course, with only 6 matches to go. Well, in theory, they could score 120 VPs. That won't happen for a start. And even if they have 6 good matches, it will not be enough because, I mean, other teams also score points. In practical bridge, it won't happen. I suppose it can happen mathematically. I didn't do any calculations.
No. Well, let's hope for their sake they can avoid a repeat in future championships, even if they do have to switch back to selection without a trial.
I think there's a risk that it'll be kind of even worse in the future because Lauria has announced that due to other commitments, sponsors all over the world, he is reluctant to play in major championships in the future.
Very tactfully worded.
There was already some doubt regarding the Bermuda Bowl in Indonesia, whether he was going to play there or not. For the reason I mentioned, other commitments, but they did persuade him to play. Right, here we are. Very interesting match, of course. Israel in third place, Monaco leading. So, well, all matches are crucial now, of course. I know the line up in this room. We'll get Schwarz and Fischer for Israel against Helnes Helgamo.
Right, I'll bring up the Israeli convention card on my screen then.
Yes, I know the Norwegian, sorry, the Monaco pairs convention card by heart. So, well, if in doubt, I'll have a look. Just checking, as usual, as I always do when I remember. Are we getting through to you in the audience? We may have a couple of spectators already. We are. Thank you. Not easy to choose a match really this morning. We have so many good matches. England-Germany is another, isn't it? Right. By the way, Auken and Welland sitting out in that match, which is perhaps good news for England. You never know.
Did they finish high up the Butler?
I didn't look actually, David. I'm sorry. So we're back to normal regarding starting time, 10:30 local time. And that means, of course, that we won't get as many spectators as we did yesterday, for 2 reasons. Yesterday was Sunday, and yesterday they started late, 12:30. But we'll get a few eventually. Also, it's
Look,
not at all clear whether you know, spectators want to come to this table if they decide to watch this match, because as we all know, Fantoni and Nunes are very popular. But I think this is just great, because we've been watching Fantoni so often that I think it's just fine to have Helnes and Helgemo. Very much maybe an underrated pair, not least Helnes, which is a shame because they are great.
yes, they're not underrated by me. I have just looked at the Butler rankings, and the top German pair was Smirnov and Pikarek in a very handsome third position with plus 0.88 imps per board, and Welland and Orkan were also well placed 10th, plus 0.54. So they've got two pairs up in the top 10. Whether we pay high regard to Butler rankings or not, it's always interesting.
And what about the third pair? Third pair is Fitcher and Uruchowski.
Plus 0.16.
Thank you. And not only is it great to watch Helnes Helgemo, it's also easier for the inexperienced players in the audience to follow the bidding, because it's just natural stuff, right? And it is natural stuff by the Israelis also.
A few years back, when I wrote some book on signalling and defence at bridge, I was in contact with one member of the Norway team, and we just sort of discussed writing a book together. But I was absolutely staggered how in those days nearly all the signals they used were just attitude, as far as I could make out. I mean, the guy sent me 50 pages or so of material, and they were all just a question of whether you should encourage or discourage. I'm sure now that they play the whole range of signals, because as the years go by, more and more people realise how important count signals are, and even suit preference, with players using suit preference much more than in a sort of club game.
Now let me just tell a little about the system played by Helnes Helgemo. It's standard Norwegian. One spade is 5 cards, one heart promising only 4, same with one diamond and one club. One club can be 3 cards, but only with the specific holding of 4, 3, 3, 3. In the other room we have Fantoni Nunes, north-south, against the Herbst brothers, Ophir and Ian. 4 hearts is weak, because 2 hearts is game forcing. 3 hearts would have been stronger.
You can see hearts would play well in a slam if they had any sort of diamond control. Adding 6 heart tricks to maybe 4 spade tricks, if you could establish that suit and a couple of clubs, so they're close to a slam, but had they agreed hearts and started cue bidding, they would soon have discovered they had no diamond control.
And warm welcome to Bill Jacobs from Melbourne.
Hello everyone. Hope I'm not blasting you off the ground here, David.
No, I'll just move my slider a little bit to the left, but nothing like yesterday. I had to go to the doctor, and of course in the evening to get my ears checked out.
Right. It looks normal to lead a club here who would touch diamonds. Headed by the ace and no king, I would lead a club and probably only take one defensive trick.
Well, he might still make two tricks because I'm not sure that the Clare has quite got the entries to set up the spades safely.
Well, he would have to take a finesse, rough it good and get back to the Queen of Clubs, but that risks losing a spade and two diamonds when he starts with 11 on top.
Perfectly normal lead. They lead third and fifth.
Not much interest in this play, so I'll just tell you quickly what the system is being played by North-South. One club and one diamond are both natural and wide range, about 11 to 21, and both those bids may be bid on suits as short as a doubleton. One heart unusually only guarantees 4 cards, and the convention card says it may be 4 cards if, and then the space runs out, so we don't see when they open with 4 cards. Perhaps it's only on some very unusual 4-for-4-1 type. One spade does promise 5 cards, and one no trump is 15 to 17, but they guard against any opponents with a lawyer sitting in the back room by saying it can be a good 14, it can be a bad 18, it can be semi-balanced. So they've not likely to get the director called on any of their one no trump openings.
And how about 2 bits?
Right. Well, 2 clubs is the usual powerhouse. 2 diamonds is a multi, weak in the majors, or 20 to 21 balanced, or possibly a strong 1 suitor. So they've got plenty of different types covered by that, as was intended by Flint and Rees, who invented it. 2 hearts is 4-5 or 4 equals in the majors, 5 to 11. And 2 spades is 5 spades and a 4 or 5 card minor. 2 no trumps is a weak minor 2 suitor.
Right. Thank you. Now, it's an interesting hand, actually. Well, they'll probably end up in 4 spades. What happens on a club lead and a club continuation? Well, suppose declarer can play 3 rounds, unblock the ace of diamonds, and play 3 rounds of trumps. Yeah, that will see him home. Likely with an over trick even, with the doubleton king of hearts on side.
Well, does East have to help him at trick 2? He might switch to a diamond, say, instead, and then he's still got club exits left.
Yes, but declarer can counter, can't he? One no trump is, well, basically 15 to 17, or 14 good, as we see here. They all upgrade, you know.
How does Declarer make it if East wins the club lead and switches to a diamond?
Well, I think, yes, Roland's comment was interesting. I think he can make it. I think he can take the ace of diamonds and play 3 rounds of spades. And now East is end played again.
And when he catches the king of hearts, when he plays the king of clubs, what do you suggest then, Bill?
Well, Declarer can rough it and play ace and another heart, I suppose. Now poor old East has end played for the 3rd time.
Well, that's true, and he cannot afford to unblock, of course, because then the jack of hearts will be on. They only get 1 heart trick. That's right. But or academic, because a heart was led, and now it's easy.
This is another deal showing how leading from 4 to an honour is not particularly good, likely to give away half a trick. I know he's assuming that the no trump opener will have something in hearts, but it can still be giving away a trick. I wonder if...
the book, David? Club lead? Would the book ask for a club lead?
I don't know. I was wondering on a club... I mean, as you say, since East can be M played, I mean, at double dummy, I suppose he could win with the ace of clubs and return the 9 on the 5 of clubs lead, and now Declarer, I don't know, he'd have to do well to run that to the jack.
Well, he doesn't have to, right? He can just rough it, unblock the ace of diamonds, and play 3 rounds of spades. Well, maybe.
Yeah, it's the same end play eventually, even if East now plays the 3rd club, the high club, and the ace and another heart gets him. This is all strictly double dummy, of course.
Yes. You see that a diamond lead would have been safe. Of course, one hand proves nothing, but one of the things we found out in the book on opening leads that leading from a jack is much, much better than everyone has thought. Everyone's laughed at it for decades. It's almost as safe as leading from 4 low cards, and leading from a king and a queen is much more likely to give away a king or a queen, much more likely to give away a trick.
Four hearts here, or 3 no trumps. They both make.
South doesn't have an opening according to their card, but some players would be tempted to bid 2 spades anyway, particularly at match points, to get their or in first.
Okay, David. Over to you. 3 diamonds.
3 diamonds, right. That doesn't appear on the Israeli convention card, so over to you, Roland.
Oh, the Norwegian, sorry, a Monaco card. Yeah, I know that. Invitational with 6+ cards.
And they have to do that because 2 diamonds would be forcing to game, I suppose.
Yes.
So what do they do on the Bergen hands?
They bid something. If they're strong enough, they bid 2 no trumps. If they're not, they bid 2 something.
So 2 no trumps is game try or better, is it?
Invitational or better. Yeah, that's pretty popular in Norway.
Yeah, it's not ideal though. I think it works better if 2-no trumps is game forcing.
So Declaro is in good shape, of course. Wow, how did Israel gain 12 imps? Let's have a look. Ah, North-South Fantoni Nunes were in 5 spades.
Yeah, South didn't bid his spades, he doubled, and then doubled again, and his partner bid 5 clubs, a suit where South only had a singleton, and he had to bid 5 spades. So, if it wasn't the world's top pair bidding like that, you'd say it was a pair of beginners making silly bids. Because that's pretty awful to get up to 5 spades, doubling twice when you've got a singleton in one of the side suits.
Yes, they got what they deserved there. That's a bad auction, whether it's from a pair of beginners or from the #1 pair in the world.
Right. So now Helge Moore will have to take his top tricks. And he plays.
They're brave, aren't they? He bid 3-no trumps there on the singleton king of clubs. And of course his partner came through with the Queen Jack 10. Others might have considered a 3-heart bid to accept and keep showing the shape, but Helge Moore went for it.
Yes, well, I suppose he knew that his partner was likely to have really good diamonds and not much interest in any other contract. And single king is difficult to counter from the guy on lead. I can say that if South at the other room is that Nunes, he normally sits South, doesn't he? If he's hoping for any mercy to be shown on him in tomorrow's bulletin, he won't be pleased to hear that there's an Israeli guy already signed up to report this match.
So what are you reporting on today, David? Or maybe nothing at all? We don't know the matches for the second and third session today.
No, I'm taking a rest day because I would only be reporting on the first one that we commentate on, and I was looking forward to seeing this match, and someone else had already grabbed it. I mean, there's a sort of 2 bulletin delay between when you write it up and they put it in, so it's only targeted for the second bulletin tomorrow after all the results are known. It's much more enjoyable for me watching when I don't have to be scribbling down all sorts of notes about what happened, so I can choose which hands to put in, so I'm going to really enjoy this match.
Right. Not many pairs can bid 2 clubs with the East cards, because 1 club can be short for most people, but not the Monaco pair. I said that in the beginning. 1 club is 4+ cards, unless specifically 4, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah, well, Schwartz had to guess there. If South had bid a free 2 diamonds, and he's barely worth it with those 2 horrible jacks over 2 clubs, then presumably they would have got into, oh, I see, they don't have a club stopper. Yes, well, maybe they would have stopped short, but it would have been much more difficult for them then.
This is not much fun to play. 2 rounds of clubs and then perhaps the spade switch.
Yeah, you're right.
Actually, the spade switch, I might take that back. The spade switch actually helps declarer. The heart switch is better. That's pretty tough.
Yes, declarer wants to take the trump finesse, and a spade switch would set up his jack as an entry.
Have to get the hearts going. That's pretty tough for West to play hearts. He needs his partner to have King 10.
Yes, you're right. But say he plays 2 rounds of clubs. Or should he switch to a heart now? Or should he switch to a heart now then a club back, and then another heart?
Whatever duty East may have performed on the first round with his club signal may be showing count. If West persists with a second round of clubs, East then has the chance to give a suit preference card from his known 3 spot cards remaining, because his raised clubs must have 4, and the jack will fall from south anyway. Wow, he's found the heart switch. Well done.
That is great. Now a club and another heart. Excellent defense.
It's good, but he could see the risk of the spades providing discards, and that he wasn't going to be on lead very often, and so he would need partner to have at least the king of hearts to stand any chance of breaking 3 diamonds, and maybe the 10 as well. So that was maybe in retrospect a clear best chance.
But what if declarer goes up with the ace of hearts and exits with the heart? Isn't East unplayed then?
Not on this defence, because there was the second club to be played.
Yeah, but the man is in 3 diamonds, right? So say Helge Mo continues hearts now. What happens if you go up with ace and exit with the queen of hearts to East?
Sorry, in the current situation?
Yes. Right now.
Oh well, still 1 down, isn't it? I mean, you've got 2 hearts, 2 clubs, and you're going to come to a spade trick.
Yeah.
He's just... I mean, East might have to play a trump here. He doesn't, as it turns out. He could play a 4th heart.
So Fischer now playing for the king of diamonds on side, which it is most likely, and the doubleton queen of spades, right?
Yes,
Well,
has to avoid playing a spade here, not anything else. And they're going to get a trick.
Well,
Yeah,
he can do anything as long as he doesn't play a spade.
It's interesting, as Bill pointed out, that giving a rough and discard doesn't in fact help declarer. Can get the spade away and rough in the dummy, but then he can't get back to his hand to take the trump finesse.
Yes, it's annoying, but a beautiful defence. Gorgeous switch to the to the three of hearts there. It was fantastic. And I think it was probably necessary. He had to do it whilst he still had the second club so that he could play a second heart through.
Yes, it was a great defence. Was also well stopped by the Israelis. Schwarz being disciplined, wasn't carried away. He had a very strong hand, and even had 4-card support for his partner.
He probably said to himself, should I try for a game or should I take the safe plus score in 3 diamonds?
Yeah, clearly his Queen X of clubs wasn't worth anything, so he really, on this auction, the club 2 clubs, 3 clubs, his Queen of clubs is waste paper. So he's really got an 18 count. He's forced his partner to bid. His partner actually had 3 points more than he promised. So whilst it was well judged, I think it was also pretty straightforward to pass 3 diamonds.
Yes. So we are already a couple of boards ahead in this room, at least 1.5. Still playing board 3 at the other table. No transfer responses. Support double perhaps now? Redouble rather.
East West have got their bidding boots on, haven't they? That take out double of 1 spade with only 3-card hearts suit. That's pushy.
Yes. Worth noting here, after the redouble to show 3 spades, exactly 3 spades. It's a little strange that North would bid 2 spades with only 4.
After their one good swing, Israel are now about 9 victory points behind Monaco. That's in 3rd position. England are 4th. No, 5th. Norway are 4th.
Yes. No real swings in the other matches yet. This rates to go 1 down, right? Spade loser, heart loser, diamond loser, 2 club losers.
At least 1 down, I would think. There may only be 5 losers, but I'm not sure that I can see 8 winners.
You're probably right, because he has to do something with his spades. Well, I agree with that.
It's a bit similar to the last time that he hasn't got that many entries, and he wants to take finesses in hearts at any rate, if not diamonds.
Now, after he bid 2 hearts, which I can understand, do you think he had enough to bid 3 hearts also?
Well, he knew that the double
I think so.
spade. Yeah.
I mean, his partner's got 1 or 2 spades, and definitely 4 hearts for that double of 1 spade. And the vulnerability's in his favour, so I think it's a 3-heart bid.
Maybe he expects 2 spades to be comfortable.
And I think it was. I think two spades would have made it easily. So he's okay with his minus 100, say, here. I don't think this looks like a huge swing board.
No, I agree with that.
Yesterday when we were watching the England team, we had Forrester and Robson sitting north-south, and I made the observation that Robson always seemed to bid once more at the end of auctions that were about to close much more often than I would. And I'd noticed that he did this, sometimes ending up with egg on his face, going for 500 when they could have got the other contract off, but much more often causing problems for the opponents. And Peter Crouch, who was with Rowlands and me, commentating at the time, and is a former partner of Forrester and teammate of both of them, he agreed that this was right, that this is Robson's policy to bid again where not everyone would, so we can be sure that if he was sitting east, then he would have gone to three hearts as well.
Now in the women's, they're exchanging imps in the match between England and Germany. 14-12 after 3 balls.
Five matches still to play in the women's event, and last time I looked, England had a 10 VP lead at the top. Pretty big gap, but just one bad match is enough to throw that down the drain. So England supporters hoping for the best in that direction.
So East-West here should get to 5 of the minor, where you have to guess the Queen of Diamonds.
Well, I think it has to be 5 of the right minor. I think it has to be 5 clubs. 5 diamonds on 3 rounds of spades. I think that destroys it.
Yep. That's right. Or does it? It does. Yes, you're right. 2 clubs is inverted. Remember, it was again an inverted race. Not many would do that, because not many could do that, because they play a 2+ or 3+1 club. But of course, the advantage for the Monaco pair here is that 1 club is natural and is a suit.
Even though it is, I don't see why they don't want to bid diamonds and then support clubs to give a much better description of their hand.
Well, maybe they don't want to reveal anything about their hand, David. We don't know.
I reckon they're going to get to 5 clubs, and I think they're going to make it. So it's a good thing they didn't mention the diamonds.
Yeah, absolutely. And what makes you think that Helnes will get diamonds right?
Well, I think he'll get diamonds right because he's not going to play the spade overcaller when he discovers that the spades are 6-2. He's not going to play the hand with 6 spades for length in diamonds.
well, true. But maybe North... Oh, right, here comes the third spade. Absolutely correct. If anyone is long in diamonds, it's probably Seth. And since you can't do anything about that, well, you can. If you play South for Queen XX and North for the Singleton 10, right? But you'll see that that won't happen. So yes, I agree with you.
That's right, start with the ace of diamonds.
Yeah, he probably won't do, well, he might do it, but when North shows up for a Singleton club, this is sort of a vacant spaces calculation, isn't it? So North has shown up with 7 black cards, and South with 5. So yeah, I thought he might have played the ace of diamonds and tried for Singleton 10, but it's not very likely, is it? That would be 2 minor suit Singletons.
He had made up his mind.
When I mentioned that, I was talking about him playing in a diamond contract.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't
it? He had made up his mind. You saw how quickly it went.
Interesting point arose in the bidding yesterday in conjunction with inverted minor raises. They began 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, which isn't necessarily that strong, and the guy rebid 2 no trumps to show that he had a weak no trump type, and it was pointed out that this was forcing, even though 2 diamonds might only be limit bid values and the opener had shown a minimum, because the bidding was forcing up to 3 diamonds. And in fact, the opener had quite a good hand, but he bid 2 no trumps on something like a 14 count because he was confident that it was forcing.
Yeah, forest eruption, wasn't it? And Peter Crouch told us that it was forcing to 3 diamonds.
Yes, we were lucky to have him with us on that occasion, just as we're lucky to have Bill with us when Fantoni Nunes are up.
Are you saying that we don't need him when they're not on, David?
No, just as added value, sort of 20% value bonus. You see that East-West are not far off game values. Wouldn't be a good game, but they're only a card away from it. But as they came in protectively after they both passed, then there wasn't any question of either of them bidding any more. You can see that a spade lead would have been helpful. South had responded in spades, and North had got King Jack 1 of spades, so that was an attractive lead in a way.
Yeah, there's a difference, isn't there, between when partner responds in a suit or even opens a suit, as distinct from overcalling in a suit. So, for example, suppose it had gone, I don't know, 1 diamond by North, 1 heart by East, 1 spade by South. then you can pretty much be certain that South's going to have some honours in spades. But this auction, 1 diamond past 1 spade, South is just responding according to a length formula. 6 or more points and 4 or more spades. There's no reason why he has to have a spade honour. Hence the conservative 10 of clubs lead.
Why is that any difference when he responds over an overcall by East?
Well, it's more a voluntary bid. I don't know, maybe it wasn't a great example on the auction. I'm thinking more of when you're overcalling. So for example, if somebody opens on your left and partner makes an overcall, then he's going to have honours in that suit, almost certainly. So yeah, maybe I didn't make a great example there.
This West hand is the hand type where many years ago people thought it was a good idea to open 1 diamond. Oh, it gives you a very easy rebid of 2 clubs. Do you see how clever that is? It's absolutely a hopeless idea, really. You're forced to do it if you play certain strong club systems. But easily best, as I see it, is to open a club and then be willing to rebid 1 no trump over a spade, which is particularly valuable at match points. Or if partner bids a heart, you raise to 2 hearts. So you don't really give yourself a rebid problem as long as you have the 1 no trump available. And the very worst, you're going to have to rebid 2 clubs. Players who open a diamond and rebid 2 clubs, they get into a 4-2 diamond fit when they've got a 5-3 club fit and get false preference out of it, or the wrong contract when the responder's got doubletons in both the minors. So you should always open in the longer club suit.
Right. Now East-West here can make 5 diamonds, and they will do very well to bid that. Don't have many points between them, but they only have 2 losers with diamonds 2-1.
A bit unfortunate that I was saying what a bad opening 1 diamond was, and they've got a diamond game on. Very unlucky for me.
Well, yes, perhaps, David, but Declarer will have to be a little careful here, as we see, because what about his 4th spade? But if he gets a club lead, I mean, did you see the problem now for Declarer?
Well, can he set up the clubs? Can he make the West hand high?
Yes, perhaps.
I wonder if he should duck the first round of clubs, perhaps, and then he's got the 8 of clubs as an entry on the second round and probably can get them going then.
10 of hearts discouraging, upside down attitude.
Yeah, I think he's fine. Ducking the club's a good play, and I think he'll do it. He may well do it because he doesn't. Well, he can draw 2 rounds of trumps and duck a club. He's going to want to draw trumps because he'll be a bit fearful about club roughs with jacks and queens of diamonds. But he's definitely got the tempo here to make this. South's about to get end played, actually. Oh no, sorry, the loser on loser play. Didn't see that? We should have, guys.
just as well that Helnes did.
Well, he could have made it by setting up the clubs, but he saw the 100% line there, which we didn't notice, but of course it was allowed by the ten of hearts played trick one.
Yes, pretty expensive force card. Card to play to discourage. Maybe he should have chosen a middle heart. I don't know. But as you said, Bill, he could still have made it. Now here we had the hand we were talking about yesterday and the day before, David. Do you remember what they do with 3 card support for the major and not strong enough to bid 2 hearts, because that would be constructive. They go through 1 no trump and then give preference to hearts later, which can be 2, yes, but can also be 3. If it is 3, it's less than 8 points.
They describe the 1 no trump response as semi-forcing, which means the opener will only bail out when he's got a real minimum hand and no extra shape.
Now Hilton was never going to pass it vulnerable. And no way. Contract max, because diamonds are 3-3. I mean 4 space, that is.
It's a good raise to 3 spades on that hand, because he's confident that Helgamo will have a nice 6-card suit. If he had ace king queen to 5 cards, that could also play very well, making the spade and the diamond suits.
Very unlike Helgamo to take a conservative view. Turned out to be wrong, but it could easily have been right.
With a singleton in the opener's suit, that's very surprising. A vulnerable game as the prize available. I suppose he thinks that, of course, Easter's got quite a lot of points, hasn't he? Maybe 3 spades wasn't enough on his hand now. Well, perhaps he should have bid 4. What do you think? Because Helgamo wasn't expecting there to be a 12 count for a single raise, not even a cubid raise.
I think Helnes should have bid 3 diamonds, which must show a goodish hand with diamonds and heart and spade tolerance, right?
Yes, and because North-South hadn't found a heart fit, Helgamo could place Helnes with hearts and diamonds and spade tolerance, and therefore club shortage. So, forget what I said about commending 3 spades. I think that was a poor bid now in retrospect. I hadn't realised that West had shown quite a good hand by coming in vulnerable with 2 spades, and East should have single raise was an inadequate description.
Right. How about 6 clubs here played by North? Would you like to be in it? No. No. We are way ahead in this room. The result on board 5 just in, 2 imps to Israel. So we are 4 boards ahead in this room. We probably get the opportunity to comment on Fantunas also in the closed room. With maybe 5 or 6 boards left to play there.
The Israeli card says that a 2 spade opening shows 5 spades, 4 or more cards in a minor, 5 to 11 points. Well, of course they don't open it on a 5 count when they're vulnerable. Here he's got a 7 count and he doesn't open it. So maybe they should publish a different range when vulnerable, or if that's just maybe common sense. The fact that South didn't open enables North to discount, as he sees it, any chance of a slam, even though he's got an absolutely fabulous hand and partner has bid 4 spades. Fischer had a much better hand than Helgamo did, but he was in the 3rd seat.
Just going back to that previous board, David, where you retracted your applause for the three spade raise. Seems to me, I haven't watched the Norwegians much, but it seems to me that Helgamo's bidding the spots off the cards. And in other words, he's bidding very, very aggressively. And I wonder if Helness took that into account a little bit when he found the quiet raise to 3 spades. He was sort of just protecting against his partner's aggression.
He could have done that by bidding, by Q-bidding. He may not like to give a Q-bid raise on a doubleton, but if he's going to raise anyway, at least show partner you've got a good hand, and then when Helgamo is not bidding too many spots off the cards, he will know that he can go to game. That doesn't make 3 spades right, I think. But in any case, Roland's suggestion of 3 diamonds looks best. This is another hand where West had a chance to give a suit preference signal on the 2nd round of hearts. Absolutely nothing to be said about hearts themselves because he'd opened 2 hearts and the position was known. So he had a choice of loads of spot cards, and if they're playing straight suit preference, he's telling his partner, don't switch to diamonds because I don't have a king or queen to help you there.
It's a bit hard to prefer any suit with that West hand, isn't it?
Well, the ace, king, queen of clubs are visible in the dummy, so if you asked for that suit, you're at least passing the message that you don't like a diamond switch.
Fair enough. Good point. Good point. I'd forgotten that North was dummy. Yes, poor old Easter's under the sad delusion that his partner might have something. Well, he knows when he sees dummy that he hasn't got much. Look, the Queen of Clubs is Queen of Diamonds is quite a likely card. But as David pointed out, the suit preferencing would seem to suggest otherwise.
Italy hasn't given up just yet, it seems. They're up by 46-0 against the strong French team.
We've said quite a few words about the situation in the Italy team. One that I haven't mentioned is that when there is such an unbelievable disparity between the strength of the top two pairs and the third pair, it's very unfair to some of the other teams whether they happen to be facing the weak combination or the strong one. How annoying for France to find that they've got the two top pairs against them and are beating them, when other teams have been favoured with a load of imps shoveled in their direction.
Well, for your information, David.
Don't tell me.
Lauria is actually sitting out in this match.
Oh no, oh dear, oh. I fell into the elephant trap.
Yeah, I thought you're playing with Jubilo.
Yes, but they're not fielding the less successful combination, surely.
True. It is Samantha Seema in the other room.
Well, that's what I mean. They're all world-class players, aren't they?
And the other matches, Estonia, Poland and Denmark are doing well. England up by just a few imps and not a lot in it in the rest of the matches.
Well, we see many hands like this where we know that the suits are breaking fairly well, in particular the clubs. And so De Clare has got 10 tricks on top, but he doesn't know it and has to work out how to counter the bad breaks.
Yes. Now Fischer can be pretty slow at times. Very thoughtful player. Young player, very young Israeli team. These two in their 20s, late 20s. I think 27 and 26, or 26 and 27 respectively, these two. They also have Padon and Alon Bielman. Padon is still a junior, 23 years of age. Bielman, 26 or 7. And then they have the Habs brothers playing in the other room now. They are older. Ophir, I think, is 50. Not so sure about Ilan, but up there. Is junior 25 or less? Yes, indeed. That's the age limit. I believe that Magdalena Tischer on the Netherlands Open team is the youngest competitor in the Open. She is only 19, and it's the first time a woman has ever played for Netherlands Open.
Well, what do you think de Cler is up to?
I was hoping you wouldn't force me to think about this.
Well, fortunately we don't have to go through all the possible and impossible combinations, but he must.
Well, the thing he's got to worry about is a 4-1 club break, so presumably that's what he's trying to do.
In this defence, only West could have 4 clubs, not East. East wouldn't have switched the 3 of clubs from Jack 10-8-3. So, yeah, I don't know, this blockage in the spades, I don't think it was necessarily a great idea.
Right. I don't know why I said that Tischer is 19. She's 23, and there was an interview with her. Is it today's bulletin? I think it is. It's either today's or yesterday's. About how she moved from her country, Czech Republic, I think, or was it Slovakia? I'm not even sure about that. To the Netherlands a few years ago, because she met Richard Rittmeyer from the Netherlands, playing in the juniors, and they are now a couple, and she moved to the Netherlands, studying there.
I couldn't follow de Cler's play at all there. I mean, when he cashed 3 rounds of clubs, if East had only a doubleton club, he could have roughed and scored a trump trick and he would still have lost a diamond. So why did he first of all block the spades and then play 3 rounds of clubs before going to diamonds?
Yes, it was very, very curious, wasn't it? I assumed that once the spades had been blocked, he would just play a diamond, but he really did mess himself up by blocking the spades. No doubt he had a reason, but I couldn't be bothered trying to work out what it might have been.
2 things to tell you. One is that board 6 proved to be crucial. That you played the hand in 5 clubs and not 5 diamonds, as Bill pointed out earlier. The Israelis played the hand in 5 diamonds and went down after 3 rounds of spades and 12 imps to Monaco. The other thing I can say is that Ilan Herbst is 46.
Now, there we go. I'm pleased to see this. East has offered a choice of games, and Halgamo has gone to game in spades despite holding those whacking great stoppers in every single suit outside spades. Probably going to be, I was going to say it might turn out to be the wrong decision, but I'm glad that he did, because it's possible that partner will have a singleton somewhere. Even so, he's got such a great stoppers. If you're ever going to leave 3 no trumps when you've got 3-card spade support, that's the hand to do it on. Isn't that a surprise, really?
Yeah, I think it's okay in 4 spades also, David.
Yeah, look, I agree with David, but I guess if partner's got a doubleton heart, maybe you could be a little bit nervous about 3 no trumps. The partner's going to have a shortage somewhere.
Well, partner could
Even
also
a
have
doubleton diamonds could be a problem.
diamond. Yeah, diamond to the
Yeah.
ace and a diamond through. Or even a diamond to the queen and king, with the ace being in the north hand.
The point is that I've made several times during the championship that when East rebids 3 no trumps, he doesn't necessarily have 5-3-3-2 shape, because if he's only got something like a 9 count, he doesn't want to encourage playing in a minor suit game, so he shouldn't introduce a 4-card minor just to try and discover if there's a 5-3 spade fit. Partner's entitled to think, if he's introduced a minor, there must be a purpose to it, so I can raise him if I've got 4-card support.
Well, the world is
I'm not
divided.
sure I agree with that.
I don't either. I mean, the first objective must be to find the right game.
Well, what players do is if they do bid the minor on 5-4, the opener then bids a new suit if there's space for it, to say I've got club support and not spade support, and I'll leave it to you if you're happy to play in 3 no trumps now, if there's space for it. But I mean, if you're willing to contemplate an 11-trick game in the minor, you must be close to slam values anyway.
Yeah, but bidding the minor is a bit more than just saying maybe we can play 5 of the minor. Bidding a good minor helps to place the cards for partner, in terms of working out whether to play 3 no trumps or 4 of the major. So it can be a descriptive bid rather than simply saying, well, you know, I want to go to 5 of the minor if you've got 4-card support for me. I do take your point generally, but I think you make it a bit stronger than I would. And most of the time I would expect my partner to have either 5-3-3-2 shape, or if he does have a 4-card minor, I'd expect it to be a weak minor.
Maybe a singleton honour if he's got 5-4-3-1 shape. Well, it's only safe to play that way if you do also play that the opener can show support for your minor at the 3 level and not go past 3 no trumps.
I was going to make that point. You need to play a method where you can show fit for none, fit for one, and fit for both, and that you will only bypass 3 no trumps if you have fit for both, so the partner can sign off in your major.
So the bottom line is that playing sort of standard transfers, a bit of 3 of the other major by opener should probably be a fit for the minor.
Well, if it's over 3 clubs, I think many people would just bid the red suit that they had the better values in to show a club fit. Anyway, regardless of all that, it still is very instructive to me that Helge Mo, on the one hand that even I would think was probably okay to pass 3 no trumps, he decided to go 4 spades in any case, so he really agrees with the idea of always going back into the 5-3 fit.
Pity really,
We
since he went down.
Attention here. We weren't really paying attention, were we? Just as well that our colleagues did, because he did go down. He found a way to go down.
Yeah, he made a big error. He played a low spade at trick 2 rather than the jack. I don't know why he did that, but it was a huge error, because now he couldn't draw trumps. I mean, I wasn't watching the play much because I thought it was so easy. And it really was.
Gosh.
It was a really bad error.
Well, he overtook the 10 of spades with the king on the second round.
Three diamonds here, it's preemptive. Does North have enough to double again? Well, probably not with a doubleton spade. Well, it's not easy, is it? He has values, but he certainly does not like the look of the diamond, doubleton spade now. He doesn't want to hear 3 spades from partner. He'll just hope that partner will bet 3 hearts.
Sorry, I have to correct my comment. Sorry. He did not misplay this hand. He misguessed the hand. Because he was worried about the Queen of Spades with South, so he played it to make if spades were 3-2.
Oh, that's true. 6 more to Monaco on board 8. The Israelis stopped in 4 diamonds. Quite a view by East to pass 4 diamonds, I would say.
Well, North did risk a very dangerous second double, as Roland pointed out. He'd have been stuck over 3 spades he'd have to pass and hope that partner had a 5-card suit, even though he hadn't spoken over 3 diamonds. But the double, having said that, is very successful, because it looks like they might have scraped home in 3 diamonds on a very helpful lie of the major suits. So 3 hearts will be good.
Well, I don't know how good it is, because I see it as 1 down. You must lose 2 hearts, a spade and 2 diamonds.
Be interesting to see what happens at the other table, because that's an awkward shape, the North hand, isn't it? Don't like to double with only 2 spades and only a moderate middle range point count. And if you bid 2 clubs, if it's only at 2 diamonds when it comes back to you, you can bid 2 hearts, but a preemptive 3 diamonds, then you're not worth 3 hearts. Very awkward. He survived the gamble of doubling, but anyway, if it goes 1 off, then it's not gained anything.
I think I would have bid 2 clubs, and if it had gone 3 diamonds, I mean, he doubled 3 diamonds. He was prepared to move on over 3 diamonds. So I think if you're going to bid it that way, then you'd be better off bidding 2 clubs and then 3 hearts over 3 diamonds. But I would have bid 2 clubs, but if it had gone 3 diamonds back to me, I probably would have packed it in myself.
Three hearts sounds like a pretty big hand, doesn't it? If you bid 2 clubs and then 3 hearts. I mean, I dare say it's not quite forcing, but it's pretty close to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I would have passed it out. But my point was that he seems to me that he forced the bidding up to the 3 level anyway with his current auction. So that should show a really big hand as well.
Yes, well, I agree with everything you said. I suppose by doubling initially, he might have found a heart response from partner.
I don't think it matters how Helgemo defends from here. Contract is destined to go 1 down. Helgemo must ruff now. Oh, it happened a long time ago. This is the official Bucraft match, so I think that's a delay for the operator. He's not in the actual room. He'll get the play relayed from someone in that room, so that's why he can do it so quickly all of a sudden, you know.
They hadn't taken their diamond tricks, had they? So Declarer must have been quite hopeful that 3 clubs would stand up and he could get a diamond away roughed by the Master King of Trumps.
Yeah, but Helgemo was the one with the Doubleton club. So
yeah, I know, but he must have been hopeful that he would get it away.
South can't. Well, 2 hearts, David. You tell us, please. I know anything goes in third.
Yeah, it can be 4-5 in the majors or 4-4 in the majors, I think. 5 to 11.
Right. So 3 hearts is natural, and I really think you should play it as natural.
The other meaning is that you've got a running minor and you're asking partner to bid 3 no trumps with a heart stopper, but that's not quite so clear when it's shown a 2 suitor, the opening bid.
I'm asked, would you open north? Well, it's close. Don't have a rebid problem when you open 1 club. So it is very close. What about you, Bill? David?
1 club would only show a doubleton, so that may be one reason why he wasn't so keen to open the club. I expect most players would here, particularly if it guaranteed a genuine suit, and then they would want to name the suit that they want attacked in defence.
It's been so long since I've had that problem, Roland, of whether to open the north cards, because of course, as a disciple of Fantonis, I would open that hand at the 2 level without a qualm.
Effective defence here. Spade to the ace, club to the queen, ace of clubs, club rough, and the ace of diamonds, down 2.
It's almost a pity that it did go down when you think how well they did to get to a heart fit while over a natural 2-heart opening, albeit a 2-suited one. It's pretty good, but the cards weren't there for them.
Yes, and 3-note trumps would have suffered a similar fate. Cards just lie very poorly for East-West on that deal, so I think this will probably be a flattish board.
Well, I think North's going to open at the other table. So if that goes a diamond, a club, a heart, they're not going to get to 4 hearts, are they? I think West will pass over a club, a heart. He could bid 2 hearts. Most people play that as natural.
Yeah, but
Well,
North will have 2 clubs.
Yeah.
Right, Bill?
It'll go 2 clubs pass.
Yes, I see. At this table, yeah, they're playing the Fantoon system.
So I imagine 2 clubs pass, 2 hearts, I suppose. Perhaps 3 hearts, 4 hearts. I don't know. East has a difficult bid over his partner's 2 hearts.
Yeah. No, he didn't decide to pass. You're not going to pass one of the club. A 9 count with 4-4 in the majors. Surely not. Cards are not lying too well here. Clubs, yes. Sorry. Lying well in the black suits. Trumps not so well. Of course, king of spades, king of clubs on will help. So the only trick here on a diamond lead, if you get that, is to avoid 3 trump losers.
Quite normal to open 1 no trump on these 5-4 hands where you're just light of reversing values. Get across that you have got a strong no trump point count, and you'd have had a very awkward rebid if you open a club instead.
Let's look at the heart suit in isolation. Best play must be low to the 8 spot, right? If South follows small. Isn't that the percentage play?
Sort of an ultra finesse. Probably is.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make this very easily, because even if he did lose 3 heart tricks, he's actually not going to lose any other tricks. I think this hand's going to make quite comfortably. In fact, I wouldn't be totally surprised if he made an over trick.
And we have our matches for the second session today. 1 second.
England are now leading 26-11 against Germany after having that 11-inch swing against them for quite a long time. They've had a couple of good boards. They're aiming to come in the top 6 places at least, even if they can't get a medal, and that will bring them into the Bermuda Bowl in Chennai next year. And currently they're 10 victory points above 7th place that would not get the trip to India.
I have a preference, David, for the next session. England not on.
It's yours, yeah. Whatever you choose is great by me.
It'll be a Scandinavian derby. Sweden against Denmark.
Now, I know of one commentator who told me the other day he was half Swedish and half Danish. That's going to be a really difficult problem for him.
It is. That is me. I was a Swedish citizen for 17 years and 364 days.
Yes, but were you a Swedish model citizen?
Well, you know, I never lived there, so yeah, well, I always cheer for Denmark. But I don't mind too much if the Swedes win.
So when Helmus led a trump, Fischer went in with the king.
Yes. No England, as I said, no Monaco in the next session. So we should get quite an audience for our match, David, I would say. Many Swedes and Danes online. And it is of course a derby, as I said, a rivalry. So very interesting.
Yes, and the event lasts 10 or 11 days, so we are very happy if we watch, say, 2 sessions on most days to watch as many teams as possible. And that sounds like a good clash.
Is it a derby, David, or a derby?
Well, we always say derby in England, but I have heard, do they say Kentucky Derby? Maybe they do in some states, I don't know.
They do in Kentucky, for sure.
Right. I mean, there is a town, right? Derby, in England, in Derbyshire, not Derbyshire.
Well, obviously it should be pronounced Derby because it's D-E-R-B-Y. That's why England is one of the very difficult languages to learn, because it has a huge vocabulary with 2 words for everything, one coming through the sort of Germanic line and another from the Latin line. Huge vocabulary, also so many words that you have to guess at the pronunciation because you can't tell it from the spelling.
So Israel gained 11 imps on that board where Helgamo misguessed the trumps in 4 spades. East-West played the hand in 3-no and made 2 overtricks. In the other room, I mean.
I've just brought that board up, Bill, where Helgamo did lead the low trump. I know you spotted why that might sometimes help. Can you just explain that to us briefly?
Well, it wasn't so much the low trump, I guess, as well, it wasn't so much the low trump as the fact that he went up with the king on the 2nd round, fearing that South had Queen X of spades. But on the whole, look, I've already made a very foolish statement by saying that he misplayed it, and I totally retract it. But looking at it again, I do think that would North really play this way with ace third of spades when a low trump is led? Would he go up with the ace there?
Exactly. That's the point I was going to make. With ace third, no, he wouldn't dream of it.
So like I say, I think I've already made a fool of myself by making the criticism, but I'll just gently suggest that he might have guessed that one a bit better.
Well, whatever guess he was going to make, why not unblock the Jack 10 opposite King 9-8?
Yes, I don't know. And as it turned out, that was just the over trick. So, I mean, he could have made an over trick just by drawing trumps, and he could have made the contract exactly by playing the Jack of spades on the second round and running it. He would still lose one trump trick, but not, well, he'd still lose two trump tricks, but not three. The really killing play was the lack of taking the spade finesse at the second round.
Right, 4:20 to Monaco here. 2 boards to go. We have no normal session times today, back to normal. Second match will start, second round rather, will start at 14:30 Central European time, which is in 2.5 hours exactly from now.
So what was he worried about if he ran the Jack of trumps into Queen Doubleton on board 11?
Diamond ruff, ace of clubs. So that's down one, I think.
I see, diamond ruff, yeah.
One club, one spade, normal. 2 clubs, David. Now tell us it shows hearts. Because we can see it does. Not only because North has hearts, but also because South bid 2 hearts.
Yes, well in the section describing the one club opening bid, it describes that 2 diamonds would be a weak major, the weak multi. I'll have to look at what they do over intervention.
Now this will play very well for De Clara here. He has to lose a heart and a spade, of course, and a diamond. But no more than that, right? Actually, they can never keep him away from 10 tricks. Two clubs shows 5 or 6 hearts with 6 to 9 points. Thank you very much to Gal Gaston, a member of the Israel junior team.
Can't find it on the card. Doesn't seem to be any section for saying what they do over overcalls.
No, but I just explained it because I got a message from Gal in Israel.
No, it still seems a bit strange there's no section on quite a large card for what you do when they overcall in a suit. Particularly as a lot of people do play artificial methods such as swapping the bids in the 2 unbid suits.
Diamond guess, yes, is needed. You're right. On a non-club lead, a diamond guess is needed in 4. I suppose because you don't have the entries to finesse clubs and enjoy them also. That's true.
Well, I think they're going to play 2 spades. It's going to go 1 no trump by South in the other room. And if board 9 is anything to go by, West will overcall 2 diamonds, multi-landy.
Yes, Bill, our expert on multi-landy. I introduced multi-landy to Bill maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
I had an excellent teacher.
Yeah, and he actually plays it with his wife.
I do. She calls it reverse Capoletti, which always makes me smile. Excellent memory you've got there, Roland.
Yes, they call me the elephant, but that's probably because of my shape.
Works at all levels, eh?
Just looking back over the boards and imagining if I did have to write a tournament report on it, would I find enough good ones? Well, there have been 3 big swings. I suppose you could describe the 5 club one where it was a bit lucky or unlucky that 1 minus each game made and the other one not. The other 2 big ones were what appeared to be pretty bad mistakes by the Monaco team, losing 12 and 11. So it's not really particularly fruitful for reporting, although you could always find 3 or 4 deals to say something about.
Yeah. Now, how well will this play? Not too bad, I suppose. But he can't enjoy diamonds, I agree with that, because you only have 1 entry to the dummy. Now, clubs are friendly, and so are spades. Kind of, but let's see. 4 club tricks, 2 hearts is 6, 1 spade is 7. Well, you will struggle, I suppose. I don't think you can make it legitimately.
You might
In the
have
10 of
to
hearts.
crunch that 10 of hearts. Dave and I speaking the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
If you smothered the 10 of hearts.
Well, you have to guess then, right? If you fight the queen third or 10 third.
Yeah.
Now that's interesting. Now, while he's taking his time, because Fischer always does, I've time to thank our excellent operator, Raphael Braun, from Germany. He is very good, they all are, and we are, of course, we appreciate that. We don't notice operators. And that's a good sign. It's the same as in football. If you can't remember the name of the referee afterwards, he's been very good. Same applies to the operator at this table. Thanks, Bill and David, for the voice commentary, and thanks to Marco and Nigel for the text. Our gratitude to the European Bridge League, and thanks very much to all our listeners for coming this morning in Europe. We hope you had a fun time and that you will be back a little later in 2 hours and 20 minutes or so for the next round. We'll have voice commentary for the match between Sweden and Denmark in the open room. Thank you.
Just add a word of thanks to BBO for allowing us all to watch the top players in Europe for 10 or is it 10 days on a stretch. It's absolutely marvellous experience. Learn so much by watching how the great stars bid and play, and reassures us when occasionally they make a horrific blunder. And it's great that we don't have to pay anything, and let me reassure them that if we did the viewing figures would drop quite a lot. So very, very sound policy to give us this wonderful service free of charge.
So it all depends on the hard guess here. Well, well, well. Does it? No. Yes, this is only his 8th trick, right?
Right. 2 spades, 4 clubs, 2 hearts. It's all going to come down to the hearts.
Indeed it is. Any clues? West did lead a heart. It did lead a low heart, did he not?
No,
he
West led the jack of clubs.
Ah. So it's a pure guess.
I think so, yeah.
Well, you see how the 5 of hearts has been hidden. Otherwise the fact that the 8 had come might have been a hint that East had honour to 3, and possibly that he might have been close to, I don't know, 3 spade overcall if he had the Queen of Hearts as well, something like that. I don't think there's really much of a clue. One of them is false carding, he knows that.
Yes, he doesn't know where the Ace of Diamonds is. There's absolutely no clue on that front. I think this is a complete toss-up. I cannot think of a reason why you'd go one way or the other.
No.
Agreed. Last time we said that, there was a club lead through King X with Jack X in the dummy, and we all made that a 50% shot. Unfortunately, Declare misguessed it, and England gained a small swing.
All you can say is that it is more spectacular to pin the 10, right, than to drop the Queen.
And that's what he's done.
Indeed he has. Well done, Fisher. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye for now.
Yep, bye-bye.
Good board for Israel, who are currently in 3rd position. So they'll be hoping to maybe gain a few more precious imps on the board we've just seen. We can now switch to the other half of this match, or maybe choose one of the other ones. Bye for now.
bidding, and obviously